Welcome to the hot seat. My name is Tanya Cross and I'm a Master Certified DiMartini Method Facilitator. This class is an opportunity for you to get a little look into the application of the DiMartini Method, which is what we do in maximum growth classes each and every week, is an opportunity for you to apply the DiMartini Method in a space with other like-minded individuals. So this session today is an opportunity to step into what a session is, either a private session is with me. I use the DiMartini method, but I don't necessarily follow it column by column by column and question by question by question. So we might jump around a little bit. Really depends on what the particular individual's issue is. But I'll do my best to explain some of the columns and give you a little bit of education at the same time as helping the individual transform their perceptions. So in the session today, we will go through and we'll hear from 3 people with what their emotional charges and what their dynamic is going on. They'll get an opportunity to vote for them. And then we will go into the session, which will last about 30 to 40 minutes. Stay on to the end because you'll get an opportunity to maybe be chosen as a surrogate, but definitely you'll have an opportunity for some beautiful insights to be shared. And there is a message in this for you if you are here right now, this perfect message for you to hear today. So let's get started with Alexa. Tell me.
Hi, Tanya.
Yep.
20 years ago, I was at a swimming pool with a friend of mine, and we were sunbathing topless. And turning around, we saw a guy from the parking lot that was watching us and jerking off. And until today, it gives me, it changes the way I see men, I realize, and also the way I see intimacy and sexual relations. And until today, it changes it. So I would really love to transform that event into something meaningful and have gratitude for that guy.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing. Louise.
Hello, everyone. So I have been struggling in my dating life. I feel like I don't like a lot of guys, but anytime that I like someone, that person doesn't like me back. And I think that that might be linked to my personal story. So I'm very intimidated at the moment because I usually don't share that, but I wasn't born a female, so I'm not a biological female. So I changed throughout my life, and I think that that might be linked as well with my dating scene. And I haven't discovered what's the gift behind what happened to me, and the fact that I wasn't born in a female body, and that I changed that afterwards. So so yeah, it's a bit of a mix, but I think that those 2 topics are quite linked. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing. And Dave.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Okay, so my one is around my mission and purpose. I've been teaching guitar for the past 20 years. This is my 20th year, and not feeling very fulfilled with it. And it's basically, I don't play the instrument outside of working to teach the instrument, and feeling pretty lost and directionless with what is my value on the guitar. So that's where I'm at.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you for sharing as well. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to share a poll on your screen. So you're going to have an opportunity to vote for the individual you'd love to see in the hot seat for today. So I'm going to launch the poll, so you should see it on your screen. So who would you like to see in the hot seat, just click on the individual. So we have Alexa, who has an sexual experience when she was at early 20s. Louise, who's maybe around the dating, but also not being born female. And also Dave, who is grappling with his mission and his value on playing with the guitar. So about halfway has voted. 3/4. There's 5 people left. Okay. So I'm going to share the results. Oh, did I stop? Was that really, really fast? Was that like so fast? It was Louise, but just very, it was, from memory, it was like 48% Louise, but 33 Dave, and then the rest, Alexa. It was a close between, I think Alexa actually were 33 and then Dave the rest. So Louise.
Hello.
Hello. Okay. I feel like we might need to get some tissues.
Yes, I have it. I have it.
Okay, great.
I knew that was coming. So
okay, perfect. I am going to pin you so I can see you. So team, I wanted to let you know that this is a somewhat interactive session. So Louise, if you can make sure that I'm like big on your screen, so you and I are speaking, and just don't worry about looking at the chat. You can maybe close that off just so that you and I can be present together, but I'll see.
Okay.
So team, as you are participating in this this experience as well, if you have maybe an insight or a wow moment, you're like, well, that's super interesting. If you also have a question, you think actually this question would be really interesting to maybe go down or ask, then please feel free to just add it in the chat section as we go along. So feel free to share. So I just want to thank you, Louise, for your bravery and courageousness.
Thank you.
Share.
It's so intimidating because I usually don't reveal that. It's very personal. So yeah.
I definitely know you're already getting lots of love hearts from the group, but I definitely know that as you give permission for you to share some of your most vulnerable sides, you also give permission for other people to have the courage to be able to do that as well, because maybe they're grappling with something, maybe sexually or within their own inner world that they've been struggling with. So as you free yourself, you also free others as well.
That's true.
Thank you. So during our session, you will hear the pitter-patter of my fingertips on the keyboard, and that's because I do like to take notes as I go along, because there are certain things maybe you'll say or something that might trigger me to I want to go back and respond or wrap that up at the end. So you'll hear me typing along the way. That's okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Perfect. So paint me a picture, because I really love to know like more about you, and in terms of like first of all, which one would give you greater benefit to resolve today? Is it around your dating life or around your biologically being not a female?
I don't know which one I should start with, but I think that my story and like my personal story is something that get in the way of dating sometimes. So
okay,
should we do that?
Let's go there. So
okay.
Paint me a picture so I can understand your story.
So as I said, I wasn't born biologically a female, so I became a female later in my life. I've always felt and I've always knew that I was a woman, but physically it wasn't the case. So I went through all the changes, hormonal surgery and all that to become who I am today. So in my everyday life, everything is going very well. People have no idea about my story, but also I feel like sometimes that plays against me, because whenever I meet someone, then the person doesn't know, then I have to explain and I have to know, and then they're so surprised because they can't guess it or they can't see it. I would like to get to this point where I know what's the gift behind that story, and how does that can make me stronger and feel better about myself. Because sometimes I don't really know, okay, what was the advantage for me to have that that life. It's been great because I've had like lots of challenges and I've learned a lot throughout everything that I did in that path. But sometimes it can play like for me or against me at certain points. So yeah.
Okay. So can I ask, because I've noticed something, and do you sometimes, when you tell your story, do you sometimes say I was born a man, or do you say I wasn't born a woman. Do you find it difficult
No,
to say I was born a man?
what I say is that I was born in the wrong body.
In the
So
wrong
that's what I mean.
body.
I say I'm a girl, but I wasn't born in the right body, or I was
Yeah.
born in a different body that I am in today. I mean, it's the same body, but it's different. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
don't think that
understand.
makes sense. But
Yeah.
yeah.
And do you say wrong? I'm just curious. Do you say wrong body or do you say different? Or was there a period of time where you're saying
Most of the time I say wrong body, or lately I've changed it. I just say I wasn't born biologically a female, but I am still a female. I'm a transgender female, but I am a female. So
okay. And how old were you when you made the transition from like when you started hormone therapy?
I started at 18 to transition, so it was a psychological part, seeing the professionals and all that, and then I started hormones a few months after, so around 19 probably.
19. And then when did you have the surgery?
So it was different phases, but the bottom surgery was in 2017, I think. I think, yeah, it was 17.
And how old are you now?
27.
27.
I was 22, 23.
When you had that. Okay. And then
Yeah.
what was the difference for you then once you had the surgery, you with your body, what difference did that make for you?
I felt in alignment with myself. I felt so good. I felt relieved. I just felt like everything was back in place and I could truly embrace my feminine energy and be myself 100%.
Okay. So if we go back, so thank you for sharing. So if we go back then to you perceive, so I can just make sure that I've got the picture. So when you were born, you perceive you were born in the wrong body, or not the body that you were like you weren't born biologically a female, even though you internally felt like you were biologically a female.
Yeah.
And then you started to make the transition at 18. We began the transition at 18 and 27 now. So you've done 2/3 of your life maybe as male, or as in a different, not in your true biological form. Okay. And so what's the difference? Because I'm trying to decide which side of the DiMartini method, or which way that we go down the path will depend on how this goes. But when you perceived that you weren't born biologically a female, what did you perceive to be most missing in the first
that I didn't
years?
It was that I wasn't in my body. On my body, I wasn't a girl, so I didn't have a vagina. So that was the most difficult part for me.
So only that you didn't have a vagina. So it was not only, but just that not having a vagina.
Yeah, the physical part. Yeah.
Okay. And did you feel, other than that, did you feel feminine or did you feel female?
Yeah.
Just that one.
Yeah. I always felt that I was a girl, but it was just that part that was missing. So I was always asking, like, why they didn't give me a vagina?
Yeah.
Because I always felt like I should have had a vagina.
Okay. So I want you to go to a specific moment in your early years that you have a clear memory or a clear moment of when you perceived that you weren't given a vagina. So I want you to go to that specific moment. So I want you to paint me a picture. How old are you? Like when and where are you?
Is that okay if it's before I was born, if I wasn't my mother? Or is that weird?
No, but it's not weird. But I'd love a more would it be okay today, like to now?
I have a memory, but it's not necessarily linked to having a vagina, but it was a situation where people outside me clearly perceived that there was something weird. So I remember I was at middle school. I was a child. I was at school, and there were those boys around me, and I was with the boys, and they were asking me, why do I speak like a girl? Like, why do you speak like a girl? And then, yeah, so.
Okay. And
that
it
was
was in that moment, did you perceive that you, like, why didn't you have a vagina? Like, why weren't you a girl?
Yes,
Mm.
yes, for me, I felt natural to speak like a girl, but from the outside world, then there was a problem with the perception that was this, so wasn't how I felt.
Okay, perfect. So in that moment, what would have been the drawback if you had been a girl and you had been biologically a girl in that moment, or up until that moment? What would have been the drawback to you?
The drawback maybe would have that I would have just be as normal and like a normal girl, so there was nothing particular about me, so there wasn't I could not have attract the attention or to start an interaction with someone just because I would have been like just a normal person. Like
no difference. You're just the same as.
Yeah, I would have been like standard.
And so
I would not stand out, if that makes sense.
Okay, and how would that have been a drawback to you if you had not stood out or you didn't stand out?
How would that have been a drawback to me?
Yeah.
I don't know, because I like to stand out.
Okay, yeah.
I like to have the attention. I don't know.
I've taken note. Yeah. Okay. So, and so what else would have been the drawback then if you hadn't have stood out and had the attention? How else would that have been a drawback to you?
I think it would be I wouldn't have had the opportunity to connect with these people in some ways, negative or positive, but just to create an interaction and to connect with these people.
Yeah. Okay, great. So go back again to that moment. What else would have been the drawback had you been biologically a female in that moment?
I don't know. It's a bit hard for me to find now.
So in that moment, the boys are there and they're like, they see you as a girl, you are a girl. How would that have been a drawback to you?
Oh, then maybe the attention would not be for the right reason, or maybe like they would just be here because not for my soul, but for my physical appearance.
So I want you to just sit with that for a moment.
Yeah.
That they're there not for you as an individual, but for what you look like. That one. So what would be the drawback to you of that?
Sorry, what would be the drawback for what?
If they were about your physical body?
Then it would have been more superficial. It would have been more, it would have been. It would not be a connection with who I am, but who I picture or who I represent, like not who I am inside. Eventually.
So let's jump to today then. So how has it benefited you to transcend or how has it benefited you to have the experience of being both male and female? Because there are very few people in this entire world that has the opportunity to embody both male and female. So how has it served you to be able to embody?
I think that it enabled me to be much more open-minded and having so much tolerance towards people, towards their personal story.
Mhm.
Also, I have a great capacity to welcome people as they are. So it's very easy for me, and it's very easy for people to come to me and tell me their story, and suddenly they tell me, "Oh my God, I feel so good." They don't know why they
Mm.
feel good when they're around me.
And
So
what is
that
it
has
that you
been
do?
definitely.
And what is it that you do for a living?
I work in marketing. I was doing a bit of coaching before, so that was good.
Mhm.
But now I've transitioned to more marketing services
Okay. Okay.
and social media.
Okay. Perfect. So,
But I am trying to build a community online and to connect with people around fashion and makeup and beauty. So it's still about being connected with people and bringing people together.
yeah. Okay. Great. So come back again. What else is the benefit of being able to embody both male and female?
I have, I think, a greater capacity to understand men
Mhm.
and also to understand women.
Mhm.
I think it gave me a very unique point of view about life.
You think it did, or it does?
I think it does.
Do you think it does, or it
I
does?
think it does. Yeah,
It
no, it
does?
does. Yeah.
Okay. And
It does.
what is that unique perspective?
First of all, sexually or physically, to have experienced the sensation with the
Mm.
penis and now experience that sensation with the vagina is
Mm.
something amazing.
Tell me.
No
I'd
one,
ask.
and no one, I think not a lot of people get to experience that. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's really very, very incredible.
Beautiful. And so how has that helped? How does that benefit you as an individual then to be able to have those richness of experience?
Well, I don't know. It gave me a bit of not an advantage, but it's like I'm a certain part of the population who got to experience something very unique. So that's interesting.
And from a marketing perspective, how does that help you?
I think that my strength from that has been that I can take anything that looks average and make it like 10,000 times more beautiful or more successful. So I always make the analogy, and I take the fact that I was a boy and I could become who I am today, and no one would guess, and I get so much attention and I get so much compliment and all that. So I think that's definitely one of my strengths, to be able to take something just normal and see what's unique about that and make it better
Okay. And so why
or
is it
stand out.
and so why is it that you don't want people to be able to know? Why do you want to hide that part of you? Because if you've been able to appreciate that it's something unique that not a lot of people have, you get to welcome people as they are. It's how you've had this experience that like sexually that not a lot of people have had in the world. Why?
Because there are different reasons. First of all, I think it's the fear of being judged.
By who?
By whoever I give that message to or that information to. Also, I think it's also very vulnerable for me to just open it. So I feel like if I don't know the person well, or if I don't trust them, that's not an information that I like to give. There was something else, but I forgot. Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, so because we were talking about how you didn't want anyone to be able to guess that you were a male, now a female. And I'm wondering, why do you want to hide it?
Also because it doesn't feel very common when you come across someone and you meet that person and you say, "Hi, hello, I'm Louise, I'm a transgender girl." So it's not something very natural. And also because I don't want to be portrayed and being stuck in one category. I know that people love categories and they love to say, oh, you're this and that and you're this and that. So I am so afraid of that. I think that that's one of the biggest reason why I don't like to do it, because I feel like anytime I say it, I am being perceived a bit different, and people don't really know how to react. Like, should I consider her as a girl? Should I consider her as a transgender woman? Is she a boy? So yeah, it's a bit. So I'm a bit scared about that. I don't really like to be like placed in the category. I just feel woman. I feel that I'm a girl. Of course, the past has been different, but the category of women suits me very well. I don't have this need for like being communitarian, if that makes sense.
I understand. Okay, so let's come back again then. So thank you. Thanks. So although I'd love to be able to like work through so like all the things like judgment and being vulnerable and the categories that you have, there's lots of ways that we could go and explore it. But let's stay with what we're working on. So if you had been born, so let's go back. So if today you had been born and lived an entire life as a female from the moment you were conceived until today, how would that be a drawback to you?
That would definitely be a drawback, because everything that I've gone through had taught me so much about being strong and being perseverant, and also how to manifest things and how to stick with something when you want it and make it happen. It has taught me so many things. I would not like the past to be different, that's for sure. But still, if I still with that, I don't accept myself, or I don't love myself fully, if that makes sense. There is still something.
So there must be still so let's see if we can find, let's explore to find some more maybe hidden because let's find the drawbacks if you had been female. So I know that you say consciously there's been lots of benefits, but what we want to find is, because there's a fantasy that had your life, you'd been born, my life somewhat would have been maybe better or easier or more normal, and so what would have been the drawback had you been biologically born a female from the day until today?
I think one of the drawback would have been that I would not have experienced how to be like stronger, because when you're raised as a boy, you're not raised the same way as you're raised as a girl. So
and so what would be the drawback though? So tell me from a drawback perspective, how would it be a drawback and disservice?
I wouldn't be that strong.
And how would that be a drawback to you if today at 27 that you didn't have that inner strength within you?
Well,
and you'd been a girl your whole life.
Maybe I would not have the motivation and inspiration to do what I do, and the strength to persevere and to never give up.
Yeah.
So
yeah. What else? What would be the drawback in an intimate relationship if you didn't have that inner strength within you?
I think the drawback would be that I would have given myself more easily, and I would not take the time to really know the person and to really make sure that I feel good with this person before opening up, which is something that happens today. I'm very careful about that.
Sure. And do you think it, or do you know it that you would have maybe had more interactions with people and sexually?
I would not value my intimate life as much as I do now.
And what would be the drawback in that? If you didn't value it, what would it cost you?
I would have opened up to people that maybe didn't have good intention or just wanted to take advantage, for example.
Okay, so come back again. What else would be the drawback? Have you been a woman your whole life? How else would that have been a drawback or disservice to you until today?
I think that I experienced feeling vulnerable much later. So what happened the day that I had the surgery, when I woke up and I opened my eyes, straight away I felt vulnerable. It was very striking. I felt like something, because obviously before I had a penis and I wake up and now I have a vagina. So I felt like I would need protection. I felt very vulnerable. So if I was born a female, I would not have experienced that. So I don't know if that makes sense. But
And so what would be
yeah.
the drawback then if you hadn't had that like clear change and you did that had been within you and you hadn't had that strength?
I would have felt weaker and much more fragile earlier on, I think.
And what would have been the drawback then if you reflect on your life and your childhood, your adolescence? What would have been the drawback then of you?
Maybe I would rely more on other people than myself. And I would not have built myself the way I did.
So coming back again, what else would be the drawback had you been born as a woman or born as a girl? And your whole I'm a girl, I'm in the body that I'm meant to be in. So we'll focus on if you've been born in the body that you were meant to be born in, what would have been the drawback in that? That you didn't have this grappling thought, I'm meant to be a woman, I'm meant to be a woman, I'm meant to be a girl, I'm meant to be a woman. You didn't have that in your mind.
Oh yeah.
Life.
I think spiritually it would not have connected me to having dreams and having a goal in life and believing in a dream, believing in an objective and working for that.
And back 20 years ago or 25 years ago, had you even known that it was even possible?
No.
No. So what's been the benefit of working towards a goal that you didn't even know was possible when you were young? Feel that. You wouldn't have known another man who's now become a woman, and that wasn't talked about. And here you are dreaming of something and pursuing it at the age of 18 and working towards it. It's goosebumps. What's the benefit of that?
It's true that since I was a child, I had this dream of being that girl, like exactly the same person as I am today. I dreamed about that, when I was a child.
Imagine what you can dream about who you want to become in 20 years time from now. If you have the power to change this, imagine what you have the power to create.
Yeah, that's true, and I feel that, and yeah, it showed me how many possibilities there is, and how strong and powerful I am.
Say that again.
How strong and powerful I am.
Against a lot of odds and against a lot of society, that you're willing to go and embrace what you feel is most true to you. And so I'm curious, this idea of you not being in the body that you felt is congruent for you, what void did it create?
What void?
What void did it create?
Always wanting to be feminine and to have like that sort of energy and to connect with beauty and fashion, and so I always felt like lacking that, and I always wanted to
that sounds like what you do now.
Yeah.
Here you are with your pink headphones and your purple jacket, fully embracing. So what would be the drawback if you didn't have that void and you didn't have that void of wanting things to be feminine, finding the feminine energy and the beauty in things? What would be the drawback if you didn't have that void?
Well, first of all, I have the ability to connect girls back to their femininity. That's something that my friends love about me, because I'm always the more feminine in the room. So it gives me the opportunity to inspire people. So that's something that is very important to me.
And how does it serve? Let's just sit with that for a moment, because what we're able to uncover is that the biggest void you've had is like not being feminine and wanting it. There was a void of a long period of time, maybe up until 18ish, and then being able to step into your feminine. You're now being able to take that and then make a difference to other women, for example, and getting them to own their femininity. And how does that serve humanity, of having women to be able to step more into their femininity?
Above femininity is more about just connecting with who you are deep inside, and just embracing whatever you feel is right for you. When you have that little voice in your head or in your heart that tells you to do that thing, or that this thing is right, this thing is wrong, to follow that voice.
So follow your inner knowing of what feels congruent and aligns regardless of what the outside world might say or do. And do you feel that's a beautiful message for the world to hear?
Definitely.
And is it something that you want to share with the world?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you go and reflect on being your experience of being born as a man, and then having this dream inside of you and this voice inside of you and this knowing inside of you that you were a girl, never ever knowing what that was, that it was even possible, but dreaming of it, and then being able to create it into your reality, getting to actually choose to be a woman, and then be able to express yourself in all your femininity, but also have a deep inner strength underneath that as well, and to have had experiences that not a lot of people in the world have had. How do you, if you reflect on your life experience now, how do you feel?
I feel very grateful with that. I feel that, I've had a very unique path, and that has given me so much strength and power, and also wisdom.
And also maybe to be able to see beyond the veil of male and female, and just appreciate that everywhere is souls, we're souls inhabiting a physical body.
Definitely, nationalities, ethnicity, or whatever, just connecting with the person.
Yeah. So is it possible on the dating side, if you could really embrace, like if you know that you're such a powerful creator, and you've been able to create this experience where you've been able to step fully into your feminine, is it also possible that you could be a creator of a beautiful and inspiring relationship that feels heartfelt and meaningful, and someone can love you for you? That
it's what I desire the most. That's my
Mm.
biggest desire at the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So if you had to share your story with people, how would you feel?
I feel better now.
Mm.
I feel that I feel more confident about sharing it. So yeah, there is always a side of a bit of apprehension and fear. I want to make sure that anytime I step into a room, I add value to this person or to this room. So I know that I can bring value to that person, and I just hope that that person is ready or open to receive that value. That makes
Well,
sense.
regardless of the true mastery comes where it doesn't matter whether because maybe I call what I do like gardening, where I plant a seed, and sometimes you might plant a seed in an idea, and then but it might not germinate, and they may live in darkness and whatever that darkness looks like for them, and then one day it will germinate and it will spring out, and the idea will continue to grow. And so sometimes people aren't ready, but that's okay. That's their journey to go on. But it's, are you comfortable in you? You know, in a way, you're a leader in society as well, because this experience will be more and more known over the coming decades. But you're a leader in this. You have an opportunity to be a leader in this experience if you choose.
That's true.
Mm.
I've always been so scared of that.
You just have to, I think we get scared when we think about us, but what happens if there's another individual who's like you, who also has this story, and they also are wanting a role model to be able to look up to, to say, hey, like, it's possible.
It would definitely free them. And I think more broadly will free people to just be themselves, full stop.
Yeah, regardless of their gender. And so what I would suggest to do, this is just some homework on the side, because so in the beginning of the session, I was like, oh, there's like thought bubbles of like so many things we could work on.
There's so many things,
so many things. And so I'm having to like prioritize which is going to be the best use of our time in our 30 to 40 minutes. So what I would suggest to do is, because what you want to be able to appreciate is that we might have a list of traits, actions, and inactions that we label as male and that we label as female. And so we want to be able to appreciate and own that we are both male and female from the time we are born, or even conceived until today, and until we die, that we have elements of male and femaleness. So, for example, strength and vulnerability would be maybe a typical masculine and feminine defined actions. And so you would go back and review your life from the moment you were born until today, and moments, and specifically from until 18, of where you perceive to be vulnerable. So we can wake up that vulnerability, because you had said this beautiful moment of like feeling really vulnerable from that moment onwards. But we want to be able to appreciate that you've had vulnerability your whole life. And then being able to, I know that my sense is that inner strength is, you know, that you have that inner strength now, like it's there. And so you want to then be able to appreciate that you've had strength, or that inner strength, over your whole lifetime. And then whatever other trait, actions, and inactions you perceive about femininity and masculinity, you want to be able to own that you've had those traits, actions, and inactions across your entire life. So you might recall when you were like 6 and you showed vulnerability to a friend, when you were 8 and you showed vulnerability to a parent, when you were 12 and you showed vulnerability to your best friend. And so you just wake up those moments until you're certain that you had that trait, action, or inaction, say vulnerability, across your lifetime. So that can definitely help to wake up, or to balance out the perception that you have. Because then you can embrace that you've demonstrated all sides of yourself, regardless of what gender you are. And then when we have this opportunity to link you know, whatever we go through, you know, there's nothing that the mortal body can go through that the immortal soul can't love. And so we want to be, there's nothing the mortal body can't go through that the immortal soul can't love. And so it's being able to, if we're able to link our life experiences of whatever they are, to be able to link it to our purpose and to our mission, then we're like, I was born for this. Yeah, you were born for this. You were born for this, in this body, to have this experience, to have these choices at this time and this age and this era of life, at this beginning stage of you know, society, to then be able to deliver this message to the world. And it's you here to do it. And so when we can really wake that up inside of ourselves, or have clarity about that, then it makes your life so much more meaningful, and it gives your whole life experience meaningful. So I'd also suggest that you spend some time in, you know, it's what we do in maximum growth classes, and specifically in the business classes, where we get you to get really clear on what your vision is, that's really meaningful to you, so that you can have a message or a cause that you want to go and work with the world. And Louise beautifully described it to us in the business class a couple of weeks ago, and it's like all the jigsaws of the puzzle, or like Tetris, and it all kind of comes together, and it's like, oh my God, that's why I was born that way. That's why. And it puts a lot of like things into place. So I'd highly suggest that you do spend some time kind of envisioning your purpose and mission, and then being able to link it back to your experience as well.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. So if you had to have someone in the room that resembles you, who would it be?
That resembles me in what way?
Yeah, so who in the audience, if you were going to share a message with someone in the audience, so it can be male and female, it can be old or young, it can be someone who has their camera on or off. So who in the room do you feel most connected to be able to share a message with them?
I am looking at the room now. So, maybe Alina?
Yes, thank you, Alina, for turning on your camera. I saw that. I had a sense.
There are two Alinas, so I think, are there two Alinas?
But no, she's in a green. Oh yeah, hang on. Oh, yeah, which one?
I was looking at the green one, but I was thinking the other one as
the other
well.
one. Okay, well,
So
Alina, do you want to just unmute? Yes, yeah.
Me, not
Sure.
everyone. Yeah.
Oh, very similar. You all have brown hair, and you're all very similar. Maybe there's some kind of entanglement. So thank you, Alina, for turning on your camera and for being here. So Louise has been working on herself, and she has had a transition in her life, which you'll also have had some kind of transition in your life. And so she has a message to share with you today. And so when she shares that message, then you just share back of what you say to yourself. But just curious, how old are you, Alina?
40.
Oh, 40. Oh, hang on. And Alina in a green shirt?
31.
31 and 27. Okay, so we'll go you're going to be speaking to the older self. So, Louise, with what we've worked on today, is there anything that you would want to have done, or is there any part of you that would have wanted to have been born a girl, or can you be more grateful to being your experience that you've had?
I'm definitely more grateful for the experience that I've had, and it was meant to happen this way. I would not have liked it to be anything different, and I just hope that I can embrace it more and more, so I can transmit and give it to the world around me.
And so, what would you like to say to yourself now with Alina?
what would I like to
What would
say
you
to
like?
myself?
Yeah. So you can look at Alina and share your message to her.
First of all, I would like to say, believe in yourself because you can do it. You're stronger than what you think. And you have all the resources within you, within yourself. And also let go, because everything will be okay. Just go with the flow. Stay focused and keep on putting the work, and the rest, God will take care of the rest.
So what would you like to say back to yourself?
Me?
No, Alina, you just have to unmute.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Alina in the green shirt, you just have to unmute.
That it will all come to make sense one day. Everything you've experienced and everything that doesn't make sense today, just keep going. It's just going to make sense one day. Just keep going without asking why. It's just a big puzzle. You don't have to understand everything. Just follow your heart.
Thank you, Alina. So, Louise, do you feel more complete now?
Yes, I do.
That was beautiful. So we have 45 people in the room, and you could have chosen anyone, and I can see that it's deeply touched you, Alina. So I'd love to, if you're open and willing to share your experience.
Mine?
Mm-hmm.
So, in the last years, I've hustled very, very hard. And in the last 2 months, I've just decided to choose myself every day and to make myself a priority. Oh, and I've made myself like a panda now, but it's fine. Oh, thank you. It's fine. Maybe this is just an act of vulnerability I needed. So I've started taking really long walks and understanding how could I do things more easily and letting people go if they want to go and just trusting my process. And it's been, the hustling part has been really hard, but now it feels like I'm coming home. And I don't see results in what I do. But I have such a strength and trust that it all comes to make sense someday. I don't know if it's going to be today, but I just feel I have to go on.
It's beautiful that coming home, and isn't that how you felt, Louise, when you came, and had your female body? It's I came home to myself, and Alina sharing how she has this sense of just coming home to herself. And I hope I love that about the the application, say, of the DiMartini method and self-development that we do, there is an element of like not living under the expectations of other people or who we think we need to be, but a sense of like coming home to ourselves and us being home for us. The beautiful thing. So thank you so much for not quite knowing the way, but trusting your heart. It's beautifully feminine. It is. So thank you, Alina, and thank you, Louise. So I'd like to hear from you, team, as you sit in the audience and participant. As Belle said, powerful, beautiful tangent between two powerful women, so back to the heart. And Linnea said, oh my gosh, beautiful, Louise, something I needed to hear as well. So I'd love to hear from you. Tell me, okay, what did that reflect for you? What was the lesson and learning in this for you? I feel like I loved the part with Alina just sharing before, like it's like a big puzzle and you don't have to understand everything. Like we sometimes try to understand so many things, but it's just understanding, you know, sometimes it's just like following and trusting that inner knowing and allowing that to guide us rather than trying to intellectualize and process things out. So Lexi says, interesting session. Tell me how, questions, comments, just remaining curious, says Lexi. How was it for you? Who would like to share first? Belle said, anything is possible when you live true to yourself. Very true. Well, it's following your heart and sharing your voice, trust the process, and it's okay not to understand everything. Bernadine is beautiful session, embracing the male in me. Yeah. Jean-Paul, hey Jean-Paul, I'm most touched by the moment Louise realized that she had accomplished an impossible goal. Yeah, me too, goosebumps. And just by being on her journey. Yeah, that's, you know, just incredible of what's possible to dream big. And it means that maybe that's your gift to share with the world, is to be a dreamer and dream the impossible. I also loved the part where Louise shared, like, just to love my soul, like just love me as a soul, like it's not about my body parts, but just love me as me. That's rich and beautiful. Yes, big heart for that one. Okay, so I want to first thank Louise for your courageousness in sharing your inner world with us, and maybe this is the beginning for you of sharing your story and getting really comfortable, because people don't want to hear any story, they want to hear your story. And maybe as we liberate ourselves with our story, you'll liberate others to also go and live their life in a story that feels most congruent for them. So thank you so much for applying to be in the hot seat in there. And so thank you, audience, as well, for coming and being a part of this hot seat program as well. And thanks, Alina, for your vulnerability and being beautiful. So thank you so much. And if you're interested in knowing more about maximum growth and wanting to jump on, we do have our doors open again in October. So it's something that you want to jump onto, you can jump into the waiting list. We have classes each and every single week that help you to transform your inner world, to resolve emotions and shift your perspective so you can have gratitude and love for anything that you experience. So thank you so much for coming along for class, and I look forward to seeing you at the next perfect time.